Okay, I'm finally home. Bronies now.
You can guess.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay here. I want to learn the card game, the My Little Pony card game, because I haven't played it yet. And they give you a free deck when you play here, so it's really, really cool. Every time that they have a booth here, I'm always happy. Like, oh my gosh, it's My Little Pony booth. Bronies, it'll be live. I can't make a B because I don't have both of my hands. But I'll probably make it later in the later video to show you how I make my B's from my Brony pals. We're about to learn how to play the new My Little Pony collectible card game. So,
hello?
Yeah.
So, we are going to learn how to play the My Little Pony collectible card game. It's a fairly easy card game to learn how to play. Players collect cards, they build their own custom decks, and they play one another to see which of their decks is going to win in the game. Unlike most trading card games, there's not actual fighting involved. It's simply to see how their friends are used to confront the problems that come about in everyday life.
So this is more or less a problem solving type of match than actual attack and defense like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh!
Exactly. You use the friends, which you'll recognize from the show, and they will be used to confront problems, again, which you'll probably recognize from the show, and using their collective power, they'll be able to confront the problems that they face. So that's the premise. Let's see how
So non-violent looks like. So.
That's right.
Non-violence and problem solves all.
That's right. Non-violent, and what do you know, it actually ends up working out to be a really well-built game.
So this is pretty much Magic is friendship and also solving a problem.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's Friendship the Gathering.
Yeah.
Friendship the Gathering. I love that. That's good.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right.
Let's start.
So let's take a look here. We have a problem card. Problem cards are found in our problem deck, which will be exactly 10 cards large. Alongside that, we also have a main deck, which is where we'll find our friends, events, resources, and things of that nature, which will help us confront these problems. Our main deck will have about 45 cards in it. Our problem deck will have exactly 10 problems. Problems look like this. Problems have two sides. One will face its owner. The other will face its opponent.
Right.
Friends are played to problems from a player's hand in order to try and match the requirements that the problems bring forth. Here we have Rarity, the Generous. She is a friend with 2 white power. The 2 white power fulfills the 2 white power requirement on social obligations, the problem.
Right.
Fluttershy the Kind is another friend with 2 yellow power. She fulfills the 2 non-white requirement on the same problem. Together, Rarity and Fluttershy have enough collective power to confront this problem. On the other side of the problem, we have Rainbow Dash the Loyal and Rainbow Dash Weather Leader. Rainbow Dash the Loyal has 2 blue power. Rainbow Dash Weather Leader has 3 blue power. Together, they have 5 blue power.
So that which confronts this.
Correct. This has a 5 of any color requirement. So on this side of the problem, this problem is being confronted by these 2 friends together.
Okay.
The object of this game is to confront problems. Confronting problems will score points. The first player to a 15-point goal would win the game. In addition to friends, the main deck will also consist of a few other kinds of cards, namely resources. A resource card will have this symbol in the upper left-hand corner. It will have a cost, like other cards will. It has a special ability that its owner may use according to the rules on the card. Resources stay where they are unless another card would cause them to go away.
Such as the problem cards.
Such as the problem cards, correct. And also friends.
Yes.
However, events are a different kind of card. They also have a cost. They have a special ability that takes place immediately, but then they get discarded, so they don't stay in play. That is the major difference between events and other cards. Events will go away, but resources will stay. You may be wondering, and rightly so, what the cost on these cards means. At the beginning of every player's turn, they will receive a certain amount of action tokens. What exactly the action tokens are doesn't really matter. Most players will use dice to keep track of their actions.
Yeah.
Action tokens are spent to fulfill the cost on the cards in their hand. When you pay the cost, you will be able to play this card from your hand. In addition to the cost, many cards will also have a power requirement. This means that power must already be in play before this card can be played. So, in order to play Rainbow Dash Weather Leader from your hand, you'll have to spend 3 action tokens to pay for the cost, and 2 blue must already be in play on your side of the game board before you can play her. A perfect example, then, would be to have Rainbow Dash the Loyal already in play. She provides 2 blue power, and that would allow you to fill the requirement on Rainbow Dash. All that's left now is to spend 3 actions, and now you can play her from your hand.
Oh, okay.
In addition to your friends and your resources and events that are in your main deck, there is one card that's already in play when you begin the game. Your main character. Your main character is similar to a friend in that it also has power and a certain color. It's different in that main characters do not go in your deck. Your main character is played to your home area, which is not at a problem, and next to your deck as soon as the game begins.
So pretty much it's your buddy.
Correct. That's exactly the idea. In addition, your main character will have something called a flip requirement. When you fulfill the requirement on your main character will flip over. Main characters have 2 sides to them. Regular cards will have a back and a front. This card will have 2 faces. This side says boosted. This tells you that the card has been flipped. The power has gone up dramatically, and they also have a special ability that you can use throughout the rest of the game. Your main character is basically your go-to in terms of your power and your ability to play cards. They don't get dismissed, they don't go away, they stay with you for the rest of the game. So, get used to your main character and be friends with her, because you'll be sticking with her for the entire game.
So thick and thin.
Indeed.
Indeed.
There are many kinds of main character cards, so there are many different ways to build decks. Even though this card is yet a year old, you can be able to make all sorts of different kinds of decks with the cards that are already available. Cards are coming out at a breakneck pace. There are new cards coming out all the time, and each new card means a new possibility for decks to be built. So now, let's take a look at how an actual game would look. Both players, after shuffling their decks, would draw 6 cards to begin their turn. At the very beginning, these 6 cards will be the starting hand. The hand would be kept secret from the opponent player, and you would play cards from your hands to the game board. Right. Usually, the starting player would be selected randomly. However, for the sake of this demo, because Twilight is a princess and Fluttershy is not,
that's hurtful.
We're going to have Twilight begin.
Alright.
Usually, a turn would begin by drawing the top card of the deck, but for the very first player on the very first turn, that privilege will be foregone.
So the first player cannot draw?
Yes.
Okay.
For the very first turn.
Okay.
However, you will receive 2 action tokens.
Right.
You would spend these action tokens to play cards from your hand like this. Let's spend these 2 actions to play Rainbow Dash the Loyal from your hand to your opponent's problem social obligations. Now,
action cost to summon Rainbow Dash,
which is helping you to fulfill the 5 that you will need.
Yes.
For now, you're out of actions, which tends to mean that your turn is over.
My turn is done.
Play would pass to your opponent. You would draw a card to start your turn, and you would receive 2 actions. This card would go into your hand, which you keep in front of you and away from your opponent's line of vision. Let's spend these 2 action tokens to play the friend Rarity the Generous from your hand, like so. Rarity has a cost of 2, so 2 actions are spent to play her to the problem social obligations. Her 2 white power is now fulfilling half the cost of this problem. We're out of actions for now, so play will pass back to Team Twilight, who will draw a card, which will be added to the hand, and you will receive 2 actions. Actions can be used in a variety of ways. They don't have to just be spent to play cards from the hand. A single action can be spent to draw a card from the top of the deck, and then there's also another very important way to spend actions. For our characters that are already in play, 2 actions can be spent to move them from one location to another. For example, we're going to spend 2 actions here to move our main character, Twilight Sparkle, from home to our own problem. Her 1 purple power is now contributing to the 2 purple power you will need to confront your end of this problem.
Right.
We're out of actions, so we'll end the turn. Play will pass back to you. You would draw a card to begin your turn and receive 2 action tokens.
So for each turn, every player gets 2 action tokens?
For now.
Okay.
We'll see how this works in a minute. 2 action tokens will be spent to play Fluttershy, the kind, from our hand in the exact same manner as Rarity. Now her 2 yellow and Rarity's 2 white is fulfilling both halves of this problem's requirement. This means that we are confronting the problem. Confronting problems allows players to score points. Scoring 15 points is the object of the game. Whoever gets to this goal first wins. Scoring points works in the following manner. We move into something called our score phase. In our score phase, we score a certain amount of points based on certain criteria. A player gets 1 point during their score phase for each problem they're confronting. We're currently confronting 1, so we would score 1 point. To keep track of our score, we have this turn slider card. It's actually 2 cards, one on top of the other. The lower card helps us keep track of a player's score. On the right is the amount of actions that a player would receive based on their score. As players score points, the top card is slid over the bottom card. The score appears on the left and the actions on the right. Here we scored 1 problem for 1 point for 1 problem, so the score goes up to 1. There is an additional thing that happens now as well. The first player to confront a given problem will also score the bonus. The bonus on this problem is 1, so now we would score a second point. Now, the amount of actions has just gone up from 2 to 3. As players continue to score, the amount of actions that they get at the start of their turn will subsequently increase. Now, the increase applies to both players. So now that Fluttershy has gone up to 2, both players will receive 3 actions at the start of their turn. That's the end of the score phase. Player Fluttershy's turn is over, and so play would return to you. You would draw a card, and you would receive 3 action tokens now.
Right.
So now that you have all of those actions, let's spend all 3 to play the card Rainbow Dash Weather Leader from your hand to the same problem. Now we see how that works. 3 actions were spent because her cost is 3. She has a 2 blue color requirement, which Rainbow Dash the Loyal fulfills.
Yes.
So now you have a grand total of 5 blue power at this problem. You too are confronting this problem.
Yes.
This means, firstly, we go into our score phase. You score 1 point for each problem you're confronting, so you would get 1 point, bringing your score to 1.
Okay, oh, sorry.
Oh, not a problem. And boom, like that. You would not score the bonus because only the player who scored at that problem first would receive it.
Right.
And now something new happens. When both players are confronting the same problem, something occurs called a face-off. A face-off is not a duel or a battle of any kind. It is only to see which side is doing a better job confronting the given problem. To do this, both players add up their totals in power on both sides of the problem. Fluttershy's team has 4, Twilight's team has 5. You would have more power at this problem, but one more thing must be done. Both players take the top cards of their deck and reveal them. The power of the revealed card is added to the total. Twilight's team flipped Trixie Hat. The power on Trixie Hat is added to the overall total at the problem, bringing her total to 8. However, on the other side, Fluttershy's team flipped the Horror of the Horror, an event with 6 total power, bringing this side to a grand total of 10. This would mean that this side of the problem would win the face-off. This means that the following 4 things happen in this order. First, the player who wins the face-off will score the bonus on the card. So Team Fluttershy will get a 3rd point, bringing their total to 3. Number 2, the cards that were flipped for the face-off are flipped face down and placed at the bottom of the deck. Number 3, all characters that were involved in the face-off are moved to the home area where the main character originally was.
Okay.
They're done for the day, and now, because both players have worked together to confront the problem, it is solved. The problem goes away. But life goes on. The problem is flipped beneath the problem deck and a new problem is revealed. This would be the end of that phase. The game would continue until one player would score 15 points, at which point they would be the victor of that game.
Gotta get it, man.
So that is the demonstration. Do you have any questions?
So, how many of these do you start off with?
At the beginning of the game, you would receive 2 actions because according to the Turn Slider card, a score of 0 means each player gets 2 actions. As the points increase on one score, the amount of actions for both players will increase from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and ultimately 4 to 5 if the game keeps going. As this keeps going down, as a player keeps scoring points, the amount of actions players receive will continue to increase until either player hits 15, at which point they would win.
So for a person to so if the person receives points, it applies to both characters, not just one.
The points are scored by whoever is confronting the problem and receiving the points, but the amount of actions is determined by the highest scoring player's score.
Okay, so the highest score will receive. So the highest score at the time, everybody will receive that much amount of action totals.
Precisely.
Okay, yeah, that's
So it reminds me of it like Magic. It does remind me of Magic.
There are elements that are similar to
It
Magic.
reminds me of Magic, and it also reminds me of Buddy Fight, which is also kind of like similar in the points total, except that while it's decreasing, you're actually increasing. That, and you also start off with your buddy.
Yep, there are elements that are similar to other card games, but ultimately it is a very different card game in its own right.
Yeah.
With a lot of different elements, and it really is a great deal of fun to play.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot.
Thanks.
And I got to practice. I got to practice.
Same here. I gotta practice as well.
For the demo, you both get a free pack of cards to start you guys off. How's that sound?
All right, that's great.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
There you
It'll
go.
be the trading card game.
Oh, yeah, that's so awesome. Thank you
Best
so
of
much.
luck to your polls. I hope you enjoyed it.